Right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Frozen Friday. It won't feel like it's much above freezing all day. The brisk breeze that delivers even colder air next week.
Camp safety laws. One family says they don't do enough to protect children.
We obviously need to change the law to prevent this from happening again.
Tonight, their call for change and what the I-Team uncovered about existing regulations. First tonight, a violent night in St. Louis. A deadly double shooting in South City, adding up to another violent year. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush. Ann Allred has the night off. Within the last 2 hours, we've received new information on a deadly shooting we first reported as breaking news at 6 o'clock. Police now say 2 men were shot and killed near South Broadway and Prim in South St. Louis. Our Robert Townsend joins us live from police headquarters downtown with the latest. Robert.
Mike, for the last 5 hours, we've called and emailed St. Louis police about the deadly double shooting. But as of right now, they are still very tight-lipped about the details. And I can tell you this, the city's homicide rate keeps on rising. Police say around 5 this afternoon, gunshots rang out in this area. It's called the Patch neighborhood. An officer in need of aid call went out after the gunfire due to a large crowd near the South Broadway scene. Right now, we're still trying to find out more about the 2 men who were killed and exactly what led to the double shooting. Earlier, police told us a suspect was taken into custody. So now, as of today, listen to this, there have been 192 homicides in St. Louis. Last year, there was a total of 200 homicides in the city. Again, at this point, police have not given us any updates, including the names or ages of those 2 men who were shot and killed. Of course, we will continue asking the questions. Live downtown, Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Tonight, Interstate 70 is back open in Bridgeton. It was closed for about 90 minutes after a police pursuit ended in a crash. St. Louis County Police attempted to stop a vehicle reportedly stolen on Wismer Avenue in Breckenridge Hills. The suspects fled, leading police to westbound I-70 near St. Charles Rock Road, where the suspects crashed into 3 other cars. 2 adults and 1 child were taken into police custody. 1 person in another car was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Now a live look from downtown St. Louis, where temperatures are dropping tonight. Another blast of even colder air is headed toward the bi-state, and it's expected to stick around. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here now with your Weather First forecast.
You know, by the end of next week, Mike, this will seem relatively pleasant in the St. Louis area. In the scheme of things, it's not that cold now. The Arctic air, though, is poised to arrive in the middle of next week. But today was quite the weather whiplash from yesterday's high of 58. We've been holding in the mid-30s here this evening with the clouds hanging around. Earlier today, even a few flurries. But that breeze has been gusty. And wind chills tonight are down into the 20s in many areas, and we expect them to be that way again tomorrow. You're looking out at Lambert right now. There will be some flight delays over the next couple of days, and we know a lot of people are traveling. Don't expect to see a huge amount of sunshine tomorrow. Maybe in the morning a bit. If you're south of St. Louis, you get a little more. But the bottom line is tomorrow, we're about 3 to 5 degrees cooler than we were today. Plus, we still have that brisk breeze and mostly cloudy skies during the afternoon. Maybe a flurry to the north of St. Louis. The Arctic air, it arrives the middle of next week. We're talking the timing on that and the potential for some wintry precipitation. Mike?
All right, Scott, thanks. In less than 2 months, recreational marijuana sales will begin in Missouri. And tonight, St. Louis City and O'Fallon, Missouri, are considering plans to add an extra 3% sales tax on pot purchases. That's on top of the state's 6%. Our Laura Barczewski is live outside St. Louis City Hall, where a public meeting to discuss the tax was canceled tonight. Laura.
It was, Mike. It's still not clear why it was canceled, but I spoke with an alderman who's on the committee who says the marijuana sales tax bill is moving on to the next step, but ultimately it's up to the voters to decide. The city of St. Louis is hoping to put a 3% tax on recreational marijuana sales. It's money Ward 12 Alderman Bill Stevens says would go into the general fund.
I think we're all aware of the declining population of the city. That means a shrinking tax base. So I think in a lot of ways, this 3% tax could absolutely be a much-needed lifeline. for the city's operations.
If the Board of Aldermen passes the bill, it would go in front of voters in April 2023.
So it is not a tax that would apply to, again, medical or any other commodity. It's really just those that would like to partake in legal recreational cannabis.
Mayor Bill Hennessy says the city of O'Fallon wants to do the same.
You're paying for the sales tax on the cigarettes and the alcohol and all that other stuff. So, to me, why should the state just get their money and the city not get their money?
Is there an area of need where you would hope to see it go towards?
Wherever we need it the most come to budget time, if there's a shortfall somewhere, if it's roads or if it's police, if it's wherever it's at, that's where we would use it.
Hennessy says they had quite a bit of support for the last tax they sent to the voters and expects the same for this one.
Well, I think it'll impact the city very much. I mean, with, a sales tax, if we go into a recession or whatever it is, at least we'll have that, sales tax coming in.
For both St. Louis and O'Fallon, these marijuana sales tax bills could be approved as soon as January, but again, it's up to the voters to decide in April. Reporting live from St. Louis, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
Today, Lamar Johnson took the stand in the hearing to overturn his murder conviction from nearly 30 years ago. Johnson was convicted in the deadly shooting of Marcus Boyd in 1994. Today, he admitted he was part of a street gang and was meeting someone for a drug deal right before learning Boyd was killed. But he said he was several miles away and not involved in the murder. Johnson described his relationship to Boyd as a close friendship, a brotherhood.
He was family oriented, and he used to try to encourage me to stop associating in the dark side area. And I kind of looked up to him in a way and was trying to mirror myself after him.
The judge says he plans to have this hearing wrapped up before Monday. We'll hear from more witnesses when court resumes tomorrow at 10 in the morning, and you can stream it live on 5+. Tonight, a former St. Louis police officer is a free man after a jury found him not guilty of sexual assault. Torrey Phelps was one of 2 officers accused of raping a fellow officer back in 2010. The jury deliberated for just over an hour today before finding him not guilty. The other former officer, LaFeel LaShaw, is scheduled to go on trial in February. Tonight, Dan McLaughlin is out as broadcaster with the St. Louis Cardinals and Bally Sports Midwest. What they're calling a mutual decision comes after his 3rd DWI arrest last week. The talented and passionate play-by-play man has been outspoken about his struggles with alcoholism in the past. He released a statement saying, in part, quote, "My sole focus needs to be on my recovery, which I have started, and that of my wife and children." Tonight, we're learning more about the future of St. Mary's High School. The school has accepted a 3-year lease from the Archdiocese, but will operate independently. Starting next summer, the school will be renamed St. Mary's Southside Catholic High and become a Marianist-sponsored school. Today's news comes months after the Archdiocese said it would close St. Mary's and Rosati Kane High School because of low enrollment and rising costs.
It's a wonderful feeling knowing that their intent is to give a future for not only my son, but a future for other kids.
All these people that go here are my family. Like some of the friends I met, they're brothers to me. And so I see them as brothers. So they taught me how to be a better man, like in here and out there.
5 donors helped raise more than $3 million to fund the school. The school needs $10 million total over the next 5 years to continue to stay open. The all-girls Rosati Kane High School is also losing Archdiocese support at the end of the year. The alumni group fundraising for the school tells 5 on Your Side that they expect to make an announcement about their future next week. Well, tonight our Verify team is stopping the spread of misinformation and disinformation online. A former federal prosecutor in St. Louis made claims on Twitter about illegal drugs in our area. The posts were retweeted or liked almost 10,000 times. But are they true? Ann Allred has a look.
Former Assistant U.S. Attorney Will Scharf tweeted, "Have you taken ecstasy recently? Guess again. It was meth. There is no ecstasy anymore. And there is no heroin left in St. Louis. It's all fentanyl." Our question, is it true ecstasy and heroin are no longer part of the illegal drug market? Our sources, DEA Special Agent in Charge Michael Davis and Melody Quinn, a drug detective with the St. Louis County Police Department. Is it true there is no ecstasy anymore?
Okay, that is not true.
Davis says agents are still seizing ecstasy, or what's also known as MDMA. He says there is definitely less of it on the streets as methamphetamine use grows, but ecstasy is still out there. As for heroin,
we seized a little over 35 pounds of heroin.
Davis says that amount was seized over a 12-month period in the area our local DEA office covers. That is all of Missouri, Kansas, and southern Illinois. Our St. Louis County PD source says they've only made 1 or 2 heroin seizures in the last year. Both sources agree they are seeing less heroin as fentanyl use skyrockets, but both agencies made heroin busts in the last year. We can verify these tweets are false. Ecstasy and heroin are still part of the illegal drug market.
Will Scharf plans to run for an unspecified statewide office in 2024. He said he will announce what Missouri office he's seeking in the new year. What would you like us to verify? Send us an email to verify@ksdk.com.
Tonight, camp safety under scrutiny after a deadly drowning this summer in St. Louis County. A grieving mother and father say other kids are still at risk. But the I-Team discovered about existing laws and the changes these parents want made. Dreaming of a white Christmas?
I always want to see a white Christmas. It doesn't feel like Christmas when it's not snowing.
St. Louis hasn't seen one in 5 years, but many are excited about our chances this year.
The Weather First team knows air from the tundra is heading our way, so if anything falls from the sky next week, it should be snow. We're taking a deeper dive in 8 minutes.
Tonight, a grieving family has a warning for anyone who sends a child to camp for summer or winter breaks. TJ Mister drowned at a St. Louis County pool earlier this year. Our I-Team has learned the county failed to keep their son safe on multiple levels. Christine Byers sat down with TJ's parents and learned how they're turning their tragedy into a mission to keep kids safe.
It's a cell phone video TJ Mister's parents will never erase.
We do not give up. Even if we're sad, we do not give up, never.
Words that are now etched forever on a bench in his honor outside his elementary school.
I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to give up. I'm sad, but I'm going to make it through.
And a message that has taken on new meaning for his parents, Olga and Trey Mister. 6-year-old TJ drowned at the Kennedy Recreation Center in July.
This is really important for us right now because we're really sad.
The Misters are now on a quest to make sure children are kept safe at camps. Another parent halfway across the country who knows exactly how they feel has been guiding their way.
In 2019, I dropped my 6-year-old daughter Roxy off at a summer camp in Los Angeles. And 45 minutes later, I was standing over her dead body in a trauma room.
Doug Forbes found records showing his daughter's lifeguards weren't properly certified. He found similar evidence for the Misters, including an audit the I-Team obtained showing the 911 call was initially routed to Colorado. Only 1 lifeguard was on duty that day instead of 2, and St. Louis County Councilman Ernie Tracus ordered the pool to open for the season despite warnings from staff that it didn't have enough lifeguards. The county-owned pool is in Tracus's district. He wrote in an email obtained by the I-Team that he wanted the pool to open. Quote, I don't care if that means you have to offer higher compensation, better hours, or other incentives to retain the necessary personnel.
If you could say something to Councilman Tracus, what would you want to say?
Well, it seems like he dropped the ball, but, we can't point the finger at anyone.
Right. I mean, we weren't there to know exactly who made the last call, right? But the evidence speaks for itself.
Tracus sent a statement to the I-Team. He says he wasn't involved in the decision to open the pool without the necessary lifeguards that day. And he's calling on the Department of Parks and Rec now to ban county pools from opening until they have enough staff. The Misters want more than that. They're pushing for a law like the one Forbes got passed in LA County.
But in order to do that, we have to have signatures, we have to have people. They have to know that it's important to other people, not just us.
That law would require all camps to be licensed and ensure that counselors are mandated reporters for abuse and trained on CPR, emergency action plans for active shooters, drownings, and other emergencies, and to publicly report incidents so parents can research them.
We obviously need to change the law to prevent this from happening again.
And just like TJ always said,
Obviously, we're not giving up. I just wish he could still be here.
A spokesman for the county says they fixed the 911 issue. The Misters have also filed a lawsuit against the county. To learn more about the Misters petition and how other states regulate summer camps, check out my story on KSDK.com. For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
Tonight, several lawmakers in Washington want Amazon to explain why the Edwardsville warehouse that collapsed during a 2021 tornado, killing 6 employees, is being rebuilt without upgraded storm shelters. In a letter published today, Representatives Cori Bush, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Senator Elizabeth Warren said Amazon has a responsibility to make modest investments and suggested the company was putting profits over worker safety. The lawmakers cite 5 on Your Side's reporting on plans to rebuild the facility back to pre-loss conditions. They acknowledge federal law does not require storm shelters, but they want Amazon to incorporate one into the new warehouse. Well, Christmas Day is now just 10 days away, and the holidays might be even more magical this year with talk of a white Christmas. The last time St. Louis saw a white Christmas was back in 2017. Historically, our probability of a white Christmas is around 20%, but this year, the Weather First team is predicting a 40 to 50% chance, odds many people were happy to hear.
I'm over the 50-degree weather, and you know, it's nice to have a white Christmas.
I always want to see a white Christmas. It doesn't feel like Christmas when it's not snowing.
It's just like quiet. It's like snow globe. Like, I just love when there's a fresh snow. It feels like the world is calm.
Scott says the official definition of a white Christmas is 1 inch of snow on the ground at 6 a.m. on Christmas morning. Well, we do know it's going to be cold enough for snow leading up to Christmas. And Scott Connell joins us now with that Weather First for you.
Yeah, and that's almost an understatement, Mike, because we're talking about the coldest air perhaps that we've seen in all of 2022 heading our way. And that's not what's out there right now. We've definitely become much colder across the bi-state area. We still have clouds around the metro. We're still looking at temperatures in the mid-30s. The reason they're not dropping any more than they are is because that cloud cover is right over us at this point. The back edge of, or the southern edge, if you will, of the cloud covers down towards Deloge, heading back towards St. Clair, Missouri. You could see some moonlit skies just to the south. You also see here in Kirkwood, the breeze is still blowing, 35 degrees now there, and you're looking at a few Christmas trees still available for sale over there at the Kirkwood Farmers Market. We hear the live trees this year going fast. 36 degrees right now at Lambert. That's our low for the day. 39 was the high. That's it. Not much movement because of the clouds stuck in and over us. Now overnight, we do expect, there's a southern edge of the cloud cover, we do expect to see at least the sky becoming a bit on the partly cloudy side. But this behemoth of a weather system continues to spin to our north, dragging around little spokes of energy and also dragging around cold air. So we go into tomorrow, it's more of the same with what we saw today. We're going to be looking at clouds filling in across the area, especially from St. Louis to the north, and that's where we might see a couple of snow flurries too. Temperatures tomorrow, they're not going to be as warm as they were today. 3 to 5 degrees cooler. Weekend, cold Saturday, cold start Sunday, but Sunday afternoon's a little warmer. Sunday will be a bit brighter, and by Sunday, the wind will ease a little bit. So stay with me here. This is a view you don't get to see very often. This is our estimated snow depth. This is basically looking at the North Pole from the top. So as we look across the northern hemisphere, this is Siberia over into Alaska, through Canada. The snowpack in the northern hemisphere is more than it traditionally is this time of year. And we filled in a little bit here across parts of Minnesota and the Dakotas. Well, guess where our air is coming from? It's coming from Siberia next week. And with snow on the ground being so expansive, it'll never have a chance to modify or get a little bit warmer, which means we have single digits for low temperatures by the end of next week. 7 to 10 days out, when we're forecasting winter weather, we're looking at the pattern. Is it one that's favorable for weather in winter weather? Next couple of days, we'll start doing the trending up or down. It is a favorable pattern. Half the battle in St. Louis to get snow is getting the cold air here, and it is on the way for next week. So in the 30s this weekend, we'll probably bump up to about 40 on Monday. Temperatures will tank as we head towards Wednesday and Thursday. Friday should be the coldest day we see perhaps this year. Morning temperatures will be in the single digits.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, we have it all tonight. News on the Blues and Oilers, Dominic Lovett, Steve Stepanovich, and Bobby Petrino. Stick around, please.
And we want to take this time to say thank you to everyone who donated as part of our Little Wishes campaign. Thanks to your generosity, over 4,000 St. Louis children impacted by foster care will receive a gift this Christmas.
I don't know for sure, but you have a feeling that this 5-game, 11-day road trip could be crucial for the Blues. They are streaky. You lose all 5 and you could be buried. You win all 5 and you're on your way. Let's go to Edmonton. Craig Berube was ticked off 30 seconds in. The Blues got a penalty for an incorrect lineup. And you know Edmonton will make them pay. Zach Hyman with the goal gets 1-0 Oilers just like that. 6 minutes later, though, good hustle by Braden Shen and Pavel Buchnevich, and Jordan Kyrou gets the goal, and we are tied at 1. You cannot allow Edmonton to be on the power play because they have the best player in the world in Connor McDavid. Look at that. Wow, 2-1 Edmonton. Scary moment here. Braden Shen takes a wicked hit to the head area. He eventually left the Blues bench and went to the locker room. He did re-enter the game. Right now it's 3-2 Oilers in the third period. So a week from today, the Enterprise Center will be half blue and orange and half black and gold. It's the bragging rights game between Missouri and Illinois. The 41st year the game has been played in St. Louis. One guy who knows all about the bragging rights game is former Mizzou center Steve Stepanovich. He played in some classic games in St. Louis as a Tiger, from an NCAA regional game to a matchup Thanksgiving weekend against Michael Jordan in North Carolina. He played in 3 games against the Illini, including the first one in St. Louis.
It is different, but it's still the same in a lot of ways. When I was a freshman at Mizzou, we played in Champaign against Illinois and won in overtime. And then at that point, they started doing the St. Louis, the kind of a neutral court. Let's play in St. Louis every year. So we played in the first one my sophomore year, yeah.
Dominic Lovett made first team All-SEC this season for the Mizzou Tigers. He entered the portal, and there are reports today that Dominic is at the University of Georgia. The Tigers' loss could be the Dogs' gain. Stay tuned. How about this story? Bobby Petrino is leaving Missouri State after 3 years to go to UNLV. He will be Barry Odom's offensive coordinator. This will be Petrino's 18th coaching job. He did do a good job at Missouri State for a while. 61 with a checkered past, but he's won 66% of his games as a head coach. Hey, doesn't Pete Carroll look good for age 71? Tonight, his Seahawks did not. Look at this well-conceived play. Brock Purdy looks left, then looks right, and then throws down the middle to George Kittle. 49ers are really talented. They are leading in that game late. High school hoops at Missouri Baptist tonight, Holt versus Parkway North, and Holt can really pass it. Will Salonis dishes to Mason DeHernt for the bucket there. The Vikings back, and watch Hank Mormon in a lot of traffic get it inside, and he'll get the bucket. And this Salonis, who's just a freshman, really has great range. He'll drill that 3. Holt wins it 73-44. Next to Lindenwood, Duchesne facing Fort Zumwalt West. Overtime 1. The Jaguars' Kyle Harris with the Steve Nash teardrop. Back comes Duchesne. Ethan Kissel backdoor to Cam Lee. And Duchesne wins in triple overtime, 88-86. And that will do it in sports.
All right, Frank, thanks. More winter warm-up tickets go on sale tomorrow. Find out which 2 players have been added to the autograph lineup. Well, some good news for Cardinals fans tonight. Newly signed catcher Wilson Contreras and top prospect Jordan Walker have been added to the 2023 winter warm-up autograph ticket lineup. Tickets for the added players go on sale tomorrow at 9 a.m. The 2023 Winter Warm-Up will be held January 14th to the 16th at Busch Stadium in Ballpark Village. The oldest theater in St. Louis will soon have new owners. Today, Cinema St. Louis announced plans to acquire the High Point Theater from the James family. It will be its new base of operations beginning next year. The theater has been a cherished landmark for a century now, and CSL says they plan to continue that tradition for years to come. Circle K is giving drivers an early gift this year. Tomorrow, the gas station chain will offer 40 cents off per gallon between 3 and 6 p.m. at area locations. You can find your nearest participating location right now in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com. And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show is next. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.